When I was in 8th grade, I joined the cross-country team at the high school, and then the first meet we went to was Giles Invitational, and then not much happened, and I got 2nd place because I don't know how to kick. And then next up, we went to Knights Crossing, which is always a fun race, and then I was in 5th place, but then I went to 7th place because I still can't finish races. We also had a small little out and back meet at the flood wall, but that was not very interesting, so let's move on. And then we went to the Allegheny Invitational, and I was leading the guys, but then another guy came back and outkicked me because that's going to be a trend here. And we went to the Eastmont Invitational, and 8th grade was the only time I ever even raced at the race, so that's cool. Next up was the Milestone Invitational, and I didn't do too bad here, but I did get beat by a few girls, and I also got outkicked again. I also went to this really hilly district meet at Highland High School, and there's nothing very memorable about that, except for my coach got mad at me because I called him annoying, but I was just joking about it, and I was just joking to other middle schoolers that he was annoying, but, I was just joking, and then he got mad at me, and I started crying, and then, yeah, that's about the end of the story. Then I went back to Eastmont for the Pioneer District Championships, and won the middle school race, but I ran slower than I did a few weeks earlier, because I guess it was raining. I also went to Foot Locker this year, and, yeah, didn't do too well. So that ended the cross-country season. So now we're in the indoor season, but because 8th graders don't usually get an indoor track, I had to do a polar bear meet, and I did the 1600 and did like 530 or something. And then I also did another polar bear meet, which was supposed to be inside, but the meet was delayed really far, so I actually did it outside. I did another 1600, like 519, which was a big PR, so I couldn't have been really too mad about it, but I still can't kick. Then something tragic happened called coronavirus, so we didn't even have an outdoor season, and the cross-country season the next fall that was supposed to be that got moved into the spring, so it was all kind of goofy. But that fall we sort of had what we called time trial season, so we did a downhill mile time trial, and then 800 meter time trial. Then there was a random cross-country meet thrown there at Pole Green Lower, and then a couple 1600 time trials in 503, then 504, a 3200 time trial in 1057, then 1043, and then an 800 meter time trial in like 226. Don't know what I was doing there. Then the real indoor season came, and I did a 1657, and then like a 220 split in the 800, and then also we did a 1045 3200 and a 5 flat 1600 with like nobody else on the track. And then at regions I raced 3200 and got 4th with 1055, and I didn't even qualify to states. So now we're squeezing cross country in between indoor and outdoor, and it wasn't very memorable. And we did a couple small meets. We did an Allegheny Invitational in air quotes, and then we did the Pioneer District Championships, and then we went to regions and tied with Auburn, but they won the 6th-man tiebreaker. And then we went to states, and I got 16th place and almost got all-state, but then our team beat Auburn by a few points and beat them at states. And the really short outdoor season wasn't that interesting either. I did a 218, 800, and a 501, 1600, and I still can't just go under 5 minutes for some reason. And then I also did another 3200 that was pretty slow, and I don't really remember what it was, and there also was only 2 people on the track. And then we were going to do another race, but then we had to do a time trial because it got canceled, and that was a missed opportunity. And then we went to districts, and this was the one time I actually beat my older brother at the in a race. And I finally went under 5 minutes. And then at regions, I only did the 3200 and got 3rd, and actually did qualify for states for once, and that was exciting as well. And then at states, I got 7th in the 3200 and ran a small PR, and then I also did the 4x8 and didn't do too well of a split, but we also got 7th as a team there. And then for the team title, we got 3rd, and we were sort of close until the last event. It kind of came down to the 4x4, of course. So now it's 10th grade, it's cross-country season. Cross-country is in the fall when it's supposed to be, and we went to a relay meet, Blacksburg relays, and then there was this goofy hay bill. And then we went to Knight's Crossing, and I wasn't too upset with 17:01, that's what I ran. And then what's even better is at Allegheny, I actually wore spikes, and then ran 16:46, and then before mile stats, a couple weeks later, a couple days before the race, I kind of fell and kind of hurt my foot while running, and that's actually a funny story. And then we went to districts, and I won the district championships, and then we went on to regions, and I got third to a guy from Auburn and a guy from George Wythe. The guy from Auburn was Chase. And then at the state meet, I also got third, but to two different people, Cameron Stearns, Caleb Ellswick, and then me. And then I also went to Foot Locker that year, and also went under 17 minutes, and I also wasn't too upset about that either. It was indoor season. This is actually the first time I actually raced on an indoor track and ran 10:08 for 320 meters, and then a few weeks later I ran on the same track, ran 4:40 1600, and then I also doubled the 1000 and did 2:53. Then I went to Liberty and broke the indoor school record on 300 and ran 9:55, and then we went straight to regions and I ran the 1600 and went out really slow, but somehow managed to catch up to the Glenwood guy and beat him by 0.04 seconds. And then in the 1000 I got second, and I guess I can sort of kick now. And then at states I only raced at 3200 and won, and they actually started us at the wrong starting line, so I ran like 10 extra meters. Next came the outdoor season, and I had dragonflies now, and I ran a small PR at EC class in the 1600, and then I came back for the 800 and ran another PR in the 800. And then at Lynchburg University, I ran about 1 second PR in the 3200. Then at Floyd County High School, I ran 4:38 in the 1600, and then in the 800, I ran 209.37 again, which I did the exact same at EC class, 209.37, like the exact same. Then at Knight's Crossing, but for the track with the banked track, I ran 9:44 in the 3200, and then just a couple weeks later at Dogwood Track Classic, I ran 9:50, and it was kind of windy, and that didn't do good too well. Then at regions, I won the 1600, and I also won the 800, and then at states, I ran the 3200 and won that, and then came back for the 1600 later and got second, and went out really slow again. And here we are back in cross country at the Habo course, and it's pretty much the same as 10th grade. And then we went to Knight's Crossing, ran 16:08, and then I went to Allegheny and ran like 10 seconds slower than that. And then Malstat, I ran 16:07, but it's a fast course, so I should have ran faster than that. And then at the district championships, I won, but I didn't run too fast. And then at regions, I also didn't run very fast, but won, and I didn't think anything of it. And then at states, this happened, and then he was farther ahead of me, and then I kind of gave up the last half mile and lost. And I sort of deserved to lose here because I kind of gave up and went out really slow, and I was being kind of cocky before, being like, oh, I would win no matter what, I could die and be just fine. But Derek Mitchell beat me, and congratulations to him. Indoor of 11th grade didn't start out too well. I ran a 9:56 at a 3200 opener, and then did a 1600 at VMI in 4:36, and then also the same 1000 and 2:48. And none of those just went too well, and I just couldn't run fast for some reason. Then we went to Liberty for a 1600 and came through halfway in 2:15, and I wasn't sure if I could keep up the pace, but I did and broke the school record by like 3/4 of a second and ran 4:29. I was really happy about this, and I seem to be celebrating a lot, which you might be wondering, like, if I was celebrating so much, why didn't I go faster? But I seem to do that a lot. Then we went back to Liberty for a 3200, and I ran 9:50, and I couldn't just run a PR on a 3200 for some reason. So then at Regions, at Roanoke, and the 1600, I went out really fast, and no one wanted to go out with me, and there was a Glenville guy whose P on 1,000 was way faster than mine, but he didn't want to go out anything faster than 35 or something, and then I easily won that. But then in the 1,000, he goes out with me. I go at the same pace as I did in the 1600, and then here he passes me on the back stretch and kind of cuts me off, which kind of annoyed me. But then we raced the last 75 meters, and I beat him at his own game. And then at States and the 1600, I basically had the same strategy as I did for the 1600 at Regions. And I was like, okay, I'll just take it out really fast and see who can hang on. Because I didn't think many people would go out with me, which not many people did. And I ended up winning by like 4 or 5 seconds. A pretty good margin. And then now we go to the 3200, and this is really what I was worried about, because Derek Mitchell was in this race and he beat me at the cross country state meet. So I was really worried about this. So I go out with the leaders here, but I didn't want to take the lead. And then things shuffle out, and then now it's just us 4 in it. But I see Derek and Caleb Ellswick, they're kind of battling out. So I'll let them tire each other out, and Derek finally gets around him, and then I'm like, oh, I better get moving. And then with 250 meters left, then I finally make my move. I was also happy here because I'd ran a season best and an indoor best overall, and I was only 2 seconds off my overall PR, so it was a good race by that standard. So then here we go to our outdoor opener at Strasbourg, and Davey Johnson beat me in a kick, so good job to him, and his cool picture his mom took. And then I also ran the 800 really slow because I just can't run good 800s for some reason. And then we go to Lynchburg College, and I get second to Nathan Atchu, and he's a Furlock National qualifier, and I ran a huge PR, I ran 9:31. I was really happy about that. Then I ran like 4:40 record. Let's move on. Then at Cave Spring High School, I ran about a couple tenths of second PR on the 1600, which I was happy about, and then the 800 I ran 2:04, and I was like, maybe I actually can break 2 minutes next year in the 800, which spoiler alert, I never did. In at Dogwood, I had the really bright idea to lead this charge at 2 miles, which was dumb of me. And then I ended up falling apart a little bit the second half, not too much, but I ran a 0.01 second PR and school record, also 9:31, like I did at Lynchburg College. And then at the end of the season, I ran a huge PR in the 1600, ran 4:26, almost broke the outdoor school record, just off that I would have to wait for next year. And then at Regions, I ran a fresh 800 and did not run a PR. Ran slower than I did when I ran the 800 after a mile, which is something I do. And then at Outdoor States in the 3200, I won the 2 mile for the second year in a row and sat behind Derek for almost the entire thing until the last lap, and then won with 10:06. And then later in the 1600, Caleb Ellswick would come, and this was just sitting kick. I kind of also deserved to lose this. We came through 1200 at 3:30, and then we closed in 60. He closed in 59 and beat me, just barely, but good job to him because he can close faster than me. Then we went to quote-unquote Adidas Nationals, yep, I said it, and ran 9:30 for the full 2 mile. Which the 3200 en route was 9:27, which was a PR, so that was a nice way to end my junior year. Now here we were, back in the fall of cross country for my final senior year, and we went to the Blacksburg Invitational again, the relay meets, and I didn't do too well, and I was trying to get one of the fastest splits because it was a relay meet, and we actually did a relay this time with my teammates, and this is also good to mention that I actually really now I actually had teammates that I was really doing workouts with, and they were always there, and that was nice. And then, didn't go too well. I didn't even get like the top 10 fastest player. I think I was actually 11th, which didn't give me too much confidence going into Knight's Crossing, because I was thinking at Knight's Crossing my senior year, I was like, okay, top 10, and I'd eventually get 13th, and I went out really fast because I didn't want to get stuck. But I was really nervous before this one for some reason, maybe because it was my last Knight's Crossing, and I ran 16:08, which is exactly what I ran the year before. We went to Allegheny Invitational, and this was finally, I had a decent cross-country race. I'd always struggled with cross-country, and here I was finally happy with my performance. I took the lead and kind of pushed the pace, and Mason Urchel got second, and I also broke the course record in 15:50, and I was pretty happy about that, and my boys did well too, and we got third as a team. And then we also did a small little relay meet at our home course, because we were friends with the Eastmont guys, and we said, why not? Just as a workout. We did some more stuff after. But then the next big invitational we went to during the cross-country season was Malstadt. I ran 15:31, which was going to end up being my fastest cross-country course, but it was flat and fast, so I knew I wasn't going to probably not run faster than that. And then after Malstadt, we went to Discrets, and I was sick for Discrets and actually got third and lost to Cabrillo, which was the first time I lost to Cabrillo, and also Spencer from Eastmont. And then the next week, I was still feeling a bit sick, and also Regions was on Monday, which was weird. And then I ran really fast for the Blacksburg 5K course. I had been running really slow for that the last couple of years, in 10th, 11th grade. I just, something about the hills, but here I actually ran pretty good at the hills, and I actually beat Dylan May's fastest time here, which most of the time I wouldn't get close to his. I'd get close to his 2 miles and stuff and break those records, but I could never get his like hilly courses. Something about the hills that he just had the strength that I didn't have. But then Cabrillo got second, and then we run regions by like 7 points, and then we went to states, and I ran 15:54, which was a course PR, but I started dry heaving with like a K left, and I kept thinking back to last year where I lost. I couldn't let this happen again. So then I ended up winning. Cabrillo was only a few seconds behind me, got second, which helped us win the team title, which was a nice storybook ending, because I had won my freshman year and also my senior year, the team title. And then in 10th grade, I got 3rd place on the state meet, and then in 11th grade, I got 2nd place, and my senior year, I got 1st place, which is a nice little 3rd, 2nd, 1st place. And then I went down to Foot Lockers, and I had no expectations there. I just went there to run against some good competition, and I actually ran 15:32, which was just a second slower than I did at Malstadt. And this is at the Foot Locker course, which is, well, a hill, one big hill right in the middle, and that's also gravel. But I wore my Dragonflies for that and actually, I think I've been wearing the Dragonflies since Malstadt actually. Yeah, but I beat those up and got new ones after the cross country season. But at Foot Lockers, I got 32nd place and ran 15:32. And then I was really happy about the Foot Locker race. I kind of like how it ended. It wasn't technically a fast PR, but I would say it was a better performance. And yeah, I was just nice little ending for the cross country season there. Next up was the start of the indoor season, and 2 weeks after Foot Lockers, we used cross country strength to do a 2-mile at Liberty, and I ran 9:28, and it didn't go too well. I was hoping to run a bit faster than that, but we went out really fast. And then took a couple weeks off of the workouts, but then came back for the East Coast Elite, which was supposed to be at VMI, but it got moved to Roanoke, and I ran 4:33 and lost to Cabral again, and that race did not go too well. I was not too happy about that. And then later came back for the 1,000 and did 2:42, and then that one was a little bit better. It was a small PR from last year at the same track, and then also later we did a 4x4 just for practice and stuff, just for speed practice. And then because that mile didn't go too well, the next week I went back to Liberty for we did a 4x8 and I split 2:02, and then about an hour or two later I did the 1600 and did 4:23, and that did pretty good given the fact that I did a 4x8 before that. And then later I did 1,000 after like 4 hours in between. We went to the mall and just sat there, but did 1,000 in a 2:36 and broke the school record, broke Dylan's school record, so that was one more record I took from him. A couple weeks later we went back to Liberty because Liberty is just a good facility, and ran 9:23, and I got second to Rivs Boltwood, and then he's a cool guy. I felt really painful the last half mile there. We went out really fast. Cabral was there to make sure the pace went out fast, which it did. And then we went to Regions, and I just blasted the 1600 like I did last year because it's a good thing to practice going out fast and hanging on. Ran 4:28, which was a flat track PR in the 1600. And then in the 1,000, me and Cabral battled the last. And then we also did a 4x4 there just for fun. And then at States on day one, we lost the 4x8 by just a fraction of a second. And I split like 2 flat 0.5. And then the next day, I did the 1600 and let other people kind of do the work the first 400 meters. At 400 meters, I took the lead and pushed the pace and did not let go of the gas. And then like 90 minutes later, I raced a 2 mile, and I was pretty confident for this. I was almost overly confident for this 2 mile, and I kind of took lead the 400 in and led pretty much the rest of it until 250 meters left, when Mason Urchel kind of elbowed me, which we kind of laughed about after, and then I closed the last lap in 27 seconds, and he also closed pretty fast. He ran a big PR, but really proud of him. But then winning this meant I had won in 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. So I had won this 300 3 years in a row, the indoor 300. But what's funny is in 9th grade, I didn't even qualify for the states in this event, which is funny how it works. It seemed like just yesterday we started the indoor season, but somehow it was already the outdoor season. The first meet we went to was the Team Terry Challenge, and I did the 1600, and I got second to Cole Boone, and ran 4:29, and it was very windy and cold, and that wasn't a very good time. But then later in the 800, I got second to Gabriel, and ran 2:02.7, and this was when I was getting really confident that I could go under 2 in the open 8, and hopefully later on I would go under 2 minutes in the open 8. We also did the 4x4 because it's at the end of the meet, and we might as well throw it in there as well. The next meet we went to was Blacksburg Invitational, and we ran on the track there. Usually we went there for the cross country races. Then we went for the track this time, which is the first time I actually raced on the track. And I ran 9:31, and Cabral was there too. We had a fun little battle the last 100 meters. I probably waited a little bit too long before getting there. And then Mason got third, and Mason also ran a PR, so week after this Boston meet, we went down to North Carolina for the Carolina Distance Carnival, and it was a very competitive meet, and good thing we went there. And I ran 4:19 for 1600, and it was actually a full mile. Did 4:21 for the full mile, and it was super compressed. There were a bunch of boys in my heat within just a couple seconds of each other, and then I wasn't too mad with this. It was a fun race. There were people lining up to lane 4, so it was a good meet to go to, that's for sure. Next up was the famous Dogwood Track Classic. The final year of me racing there. And I knew I had to do good hair, because I knew I wasn't getting another good opportunity for the 3200. And I also had to do hair to get a qualifying mark for New Balance Nationals, which the provisional time was 9:16, and the automatic time was 9:12. And my PR going into this was 9:23, so I knew 9:16 would be a pretty big PR. But something in the air, I went straight to the back, and I slowly passed people, just maybe 1 or 2 people every lap. And then my last lap was 65 seconds, and then my last 200 was 30 seconds, which sealed the deal for me, and I ran 9:13, which wasn't the automatic mark for New Balance, but it was pretty close, so I was pretty confident that I would get it. But this was like a 10-second PR, and a huge school record too, which was just me breaking my school record from the year before. But this is what I was looking for the outdoor season, the Dogwood Track Classic. Then the last invitational we went to during the outdoor season was at Louisa County High School, and we needed to get a 4x8 mark in, so we did the 4x8, and I split 2:04, really slow for some reason. And then we came and we did the 800, and I ran 2:03, and I didn't even make it the fast section, but I didn't do too well in this 800 either. And then we also did the 4x4 after, and just something, I could never get my legs under me or something. That mean was I just didn't feel good. Like, my legs fell off, something was off, and I couldn't really figure out. Then at Regions, I ran 2:03 in the 800, and I ran the 800 fresh. I didn't run a mile before like I usually did, and I still could not run a fast 800 under 2 flat. This was like a curse for me now. And Gabriel won, then I got second, then Josh got third, and Logan got fourth. And then we also did the 4x4 and won after as well. After Regions came along the Class 1 State Championships, and on day 1 we did the 4x8, and Logan led us off with a 2:09 and we were second, and then Josh got us back up to first and handed it off to Cabral in 2:03, and then Cabral split a 2:01 and extended our lead a little bit, and then I split a 2:02, and we won by 11 seconds and ran 8:16, which is the same time that we ran indoor, but a few tenths of a second faster. A good night's sleep later, on Saturday afternoon, I raced the 1600. I got in second in this event in 10th grade and 11th grade, and I was actually trying to win this time. Matthew Kane's seat time was just a few seconds behind me, so I knew this race was going to be hard. I took the lead about 200 meters in, and I pushed the pace, sort of, just like I did in the indoor 1600, but not as well. My third lap was a bit slow, and that gave Matthew Kane a chance to catch back up to me. And with 250 meters left, he caught up to me and he passed me, but I wasn't just going to let him waltz away with my 1600 title. So after the 1600, I did the 800, and it didn't go too well, but you can see it here. And I did not do the 3200, this was the first time I did the 800 at states, or the 1000 indoor, because I didn't want to just easily win the 3200, because I'd won in 10th and 11th grade. So I was like, oh, well, 3 in a row, that would have been so cool. But I kind of wanted to challenge myself, and I didn't want to just take the easy way out and do the 2 mile that morning and easily won, and then be tired for the mile. And I also wanted to get a good mile in because I hadn't raced it. Because I wouldn't be able to race it again fresh. So I was like, well, I'll do the mile fresh, and then 800, and I'll save a good 2 mile for New Balance Nationals, because at this time I had known that I had qualified for New Balance. But here, I just didn't go out fast enough, and that kind of was my downfall. And then Cabral ended up winning, and then Matthew Kane got second, and then the Galileo kid got third, and then I got fourth, which was my lowest finish at the state meet since I was in 9th grade. But I didn't want to just take the easy way out at the state meet, my final state meet my senior year. That's why I didn't do the 2 mile that morning. Cabral had actually gone to break the school record here. It had been the school record for like 15 years, a really long time. So at the high school here, I broke the 3,200 meter school record, indoor and outdoor, the 1,600 meter school record, indoor and outdoor, the indoor 1,000, and then also I was part of the indoor and outdoor 4x8 school record team. But I just could not get my hands on the 800 school record, and Cabral got it. But I'm hoping he breaks all my school records next year. And then we actually ended up getting second as a team, getting runner-up with 67 points, and 4 of those points were from a guy in shot put, but then the rest of those points, those 63 points, came from Josh, Logan, me, and Cabral in the 4x8, and then the 800, 1600, and 3200. So that's where our points came from, the distance races. With just one more race left in high school, I headed up to Franklin Field in Philadelphia. I'd ran a total of over 11,000 miles in my high school career, and won 12 small school state titles, and now all I had left was a single 2 mile race. I was throwing up before the race even started, and the pace didn't go out very fast. In my heat, there were over 20 boys whose PRs were just a few seconds apart from each other. I ended up running 9:21 for the full 2 mile, and my en route split for 32 was 9:17, which meant that this was a second place PR for me, so I couldn't be too mad about this race. I was just grateful that I was even at New Balance Nationals at this crazy stadium. Once I finished this race, I cooled down and my high school days were over. I look back with much fondness on my time running in high school. It seems like just yesterday I met my coach in 8th grade on that hot and humid day. It seems like just yesterday I was racing at Jaws Invitational, wanting to prove that I was fast to my coach. My memory flashes from the good races of Triumph, to the disappointing races where lessons needed to be learned. I watched Class 1 as a whole grow from a winning mile of 440 to a winning mile of 420. I've seen my older teammates encourage me, and I will do the same to my younger teammates. I hope the next generation of PM running will all be faster than I was. I wish them to learn from the bad races and stay humble after the good races. I will tell them to be grateful for the gift that running is in their lives, and to not to take it for granted as I did. Now go and run. Run and reap what all you will sow.